My name is Rachel Pasantes, and my presentation is going to be on mental health in youth. So mental health is a widely known topic, but when it comes to youth, it's less focused towards. So I thought that I would elaborate on mental health specifically in youth, especially since we are going up a lot on technology and since the influence of the pandemic. So starting out with graphics and statistics, mental health issues affect mainly children and teens between the ages of 12 and 17. This is the adolescent period, so we are dealing with a lot of, social anxiety, things like that. It affects mostly females. Females are they're the most seeking for social acceptance. Those who associate with substance abuse, the teens with chronic conditions and behavioral issues like anxiety, ADHD is common in people with those. Children and teens living under the federal poverty level, which is around 22,000 for an average family. Not to say that if you do live under the federal poverty level, then you do have mental illness, but it's very much correlated with that. Children who are in the welfare system, foster care, adoption, a lot of the children come from traumatic pasts or neglectful families. So this graph is a 2021 graph from the CDC, and you can see that behavioral disorders, anxiety, and depression are all in that 12 to 17 age range for the most part. Behavioral disorders are a little bit more common in children, but it does factor into anxiety and depression in youth. Out of statistics, 3 out of every 4 kids have depression or anxiety. 1 to 2 of these will have a behavioral problem. 17% of youth have a mental issue. 21% of low-income youth have some sort of mental disorder. About half of these are under the federal poverty level. It is increased by 1.6 per year in females. So mental health illnesses in females go up by 1.6 per year. About half of the children in the child welfare system have some sort of mental disorder, and 31% of white youth receive mental health services versus the 13% of children in color, because a lot of the children in color are living under poverty level. In youth mental health in North Carolina, it is ranked 44 out of the United States, meaning that we have more mental health issues in kids and less services or less treatment to provide. 1 out of every 4 kids, or 1/4 of kids in Hope County live under the federal poverty level, and 1/3 of the children live in single parent households. This is important because with this many kids in the community living in these conditions, they are more likely to have mental health issues. Globally, the United States is ranked 32 out of 41 high-income countries, which is not a good thing for positive mental health in youth. 17% of adolescents globally suffer some sort of mental disorder. In Turkey, less than 2/3 of children have high life satisfaction, and New Zealand is ranked the last of the 41 countries for positive mental health. Technology. So technology is very important. This is the main thing that's been getting us through the past year with the pandemic, but it has also not benefited us in terms of mental health. So overconsumption of social media. A lot of our youth are accustomed to social media. So overconsumption of social media, you have kids looking at their phones all the time. You have people comparing themselves to people online and really deteriorating their mental health. It's become a gateway for cyberbullying. Even though it's not in person, it has become a way for people to support or to spread hate online and deteriorate mental health from the phone. It has also been used as a treatment platform, so especially in the past year with the pandemic, people have not been able to get out a lot. So a lot of teens actually prefer to get treatment online versus getting it in person. And finally, technology has become our way of communication overall. So this is our way that we have reached out to friends and family, which is benefiting for our mental health on the flip side. So this is my video, and this video, you'll have to click a separate link because it won't work in here, but it's basically about why mental health in teens is very prominent and what influences it. It's basically how we deal with it differently and what affects different people and why mental health is such a concern in youth. So the COVID-19 impact. The pandemic has reportedly influenced 70% of children and teens. It has induced stress and loneliness. We haven't been able to get out. Physical activity was restricted for a long time. We weren't able to get out a lot and interact with people. So we rely on the media a lot. And again, the media is very distracting from the real world, and we end up comparing our lives. This graph is a 2021 graph from a poll from the C.S. Mott Children's Hospital, and anxiety and depression are the most prominent mental issues documented during the pandemic, and it is most common in girls. Organizations. So there are a lot of organizations. All of these listed here are either national or global in terms of mental health. All of their websites are created, and all their philosophies are to educate others and bring awareness to mental health. They fund millions of dollars towards research. They fund helping agents, and they sponsor events to bring awareness to and provide services to people and young children that are in need of mental health treatment. In North Carolina, these are both located in Raleigh, NC, the Holly Hill Hospital and Broughton Hospital, the psychiatric and addictive disease health systems for people of all ages. They are general mental health institutes, but they have spaces for specifically children and teens. The history. So the history of the Mental Health America was founded in February 1909 by Clifford W. Beers. He was in an incident where his brother had passed away, and he went through severe mental trauma, and it pushed him to create an organization to spread awareness for mental health in youth. So in 2014, the Mental Health America established a before-stage 4 philosophy, which is basically to identify and catch mental health issues before it becomes chronic or before it becomes a big issue. It is the leading nonprofit organization in mental health nationally. Overall, mental health in teens was very much overlooked. It's been documented since before the 20th century, but it was overlooked to be more of a moral or like a mannerism issue rather than an actual health issue. So in 1920, the first child guidance movement was established by William Healy to bring awareness to mental health in kids. But even then, little treatment or services were provided until later in the 20th century for youth with mental health issues. This project, the hardest part was finding reliable and suitable research. I had a hard time finding global mental health related information in youth, but overall I did learn a lot, and for as much as I did during this project, I learned a lot about my topic, and it really opened my eyes. Thank you for watching my presentation.